Rico, a little orphan girl, lives on the outskirts of the abyss in the village of Orth. Her ambition is to follow in her mother's footsteps and become a delver, solving the cave system's riddles. Rico begins exploring the tunnels one day and comes upon a robot that looks like a human boy. In this video, we'll be having a full recap of Made in the Abyss, so if you want to know more, keep on watching. Despite her lack of abilities, our main character, Rico, wishes to explore the depths of the abyss in order to discover what happened to her parents, who are believed to be one of many who have died in the quest to explore the seemingly unending pit. One of Rico's friends is attacked by a creature, intent on devouring him while exploring. Rico blows her whistle in a panic, attracting the monster's attention but placing herself in danger. Just as it appeared that she was about to be devoured, an attack appears out of nowhere and saves her. She discovers a robot and sneaks it back to the orphanage where she lives, avoiding the tyrannical head. The next day, we see the orphanage's young residents in a class where they are reminded of their responsibilities. Rico, on the other hand, begs one of the adults in the room to let her go farther into the abyss. He declines her after she returns with almost nothing due to the monster she had encountered, which she'd kept quiet about in order to keep the robot safe. Later that night, Rico and her pals attempt to resurrect the robot she discovered. He, on the other hand, has no recollection of himself, including the fact that he is a robot. Unfortunately for Rico, getting the robot started led the orphanage's electricity to go out. She is yelled at, and just as she is going to be caught with the robot, he uses his arms to exit the building, which can be stretched out and returned. Rico then gives the robot child the name Regu, and brings him to see the abyss from a point of view she prefers, just as the sun is rising. There's a new member in the Red Whistle group, but there's a problem. When the adults discover he's from the abyss, they'll undoubtedly take him away. After all, relics are extremely valuable to the government, and everyone, including local and international raiders, is on the lookout for them. They'll never allow a robot to escape from the depths of the abyss. However, thanks to their quick thinking and Reg's natural acting skills, he quickly became a part of the orphanage and began preparing to join them as a cave raider and assist them. Elite cave raiders returned the day before he was to earn his own red whistle with vital new findings, including information on Rico's mother. She had been warned not to touch anything in the last episode, yet she still went ahead and swiped the letter her mother had written. Moreover, she had the wonderful notion of going to meet Liza, who was waiting for her. It would be difficult to persuade an iron-willed girl to change her opinion. Reg also stated that he wants to accompany her in order to discover his origins, so there's no stopping them now. However, leaving a child alone to face the hazards of the unknown abyss is almost suicide. Within the first layer, they are already at a depth of 820 meters, considerably exceeding Rico's previous goal of 400 meters. To pass the exam, they must now reach the second layer before Leader catches them. Rico and Reg have progressed to the second layer, indicating that they have passed the Leader's test. They come to a bird-like creature standing over a delver that has fallen. It's a corpse weeper, a creature that imitates human victims in order to attract prey for its colony. Reg had a nightmare about a corpse weeper devouring Rico. Reg catches her with his extended arms. Reg's laser, which Rico dubs Incinerator, astounds her. She believes he will master it one day and wishes to assist him. Rico describes the link between the abyss's force field and the Seeker camp's strategic location in a tree above ground level. The appearance of a Red Whistle delver and a robot, Reg believes, may be making the guards nervous. Ozen, their Red Whistle delver master, transports Reg and Rico to the Seeker camp so that no one questions why they're here. Ozen gives them blue whistles. Rico was stillborn, but after Ozen placed her in the box, she began to move. At a burial in the fourth layer, Ozen discovered Liza's whistle and lets her. Rico is advised by Marulk not to follow Ozen, but Reg encourages her and grabs her hand. Rico's meeting with Ozen is causing Habolg concern. 1,000 men pins cover a large portion of her body, considerably increasing her strength and vitality. Reg realizes he can't stand up to Ozen any longer and prepares to fire his incinerator. Liza's grave is empty, according to Ozen, and she is waiting for them at Seeker Camp. Their first mission is to spend 10 days in a darkened region of the forest. Rico and Reg are ready to enter the third layer after 10 days of training. Ozen explains that a person's concept of time is disrupted in the abyss. She also urges them not to loiter after they reach the 5th and subsequent layers. Liza thanks Ozen for saving Riko, who is now very active in Orth. They talk about Jiruo, Liza's trainee, who declined Ozen's offer. Riko's survival, according to Ozen, is owing to Liza's excellent concealing and cover-up of her origin. Riko and Reg make their way down the Great Fault, the 3rd layer, which has a long vertical shaft. They stumble into the same Crimson Split Jaw that previously saved Riko. Reg passes unconscious within 10 minutes of using the incinerator, and it is difficult to rouse him up for the next 2 hours. Riko and Reg make their way to the Abyss's 4th lair, the Goblet of Giants. They are assaulted by an orb piercer, which has the ability to predict the motions of its prey. Reg receives the Scaled Umbrella from Riko, who advises him not to be afraid of greater objects. Reg and Riko's only alternative is to escape, but they won't be able to because the orb piercer can predict their movements. Riko begins to have hallucinations and starts bleeding from all of her orifices after the ascension. The Abyss Curse might be both damaging and beneficial to her. Reg's hands tremble as he tries to hack Riko's arms off, but he maintains his focus. Riko reminds him that they must continue their quest to the bottom of the Abyss. They take Riko to their hiding place and get some sticks to make a splint for her. Nanachi assisted Riko in her recovery after her arm was severed at the elbow joint. She and Mitty managed to survive the blessing of the Abyss, but they were stripped of their humanity. Nanachi doesn't want other Delvers to know about them, since he wants to be alone. Nanachi sends Reg to Nanachi's residence to acquire ingredients for Riko's treatment, to repair Riko's fractured bone and keep it from rotting. Nanachi sews parasitic water shrooms onto her arm. She creates a stew that looks and tastes bad, but she admits she has never eaten as well. Fogweave, a 3rd grade artifact that is essentially a thin, transparent cloth, is brought forth by Nanachi. The force field that exists within the Abyss is represented by the cloth. It's like falling into a trap, Nanachi says. There's no risk when you're lowering, but the trap activates when you're climbing. Nanachi inserts a transmitter in Reg's helmet, so he can hear their orders back in the Abyss. When Nanachi's orders allow him to grab the orb piercer's force-fielding sensing organ, he is taken aback. They ask him to assassinate Mitty on their behalf. In what appears to be the slums of a country, a still human Nanachi is pictured lying down reading a book. She overhears a fight amongst other youngsters over her being denied the opportunity to work with them. Mitty describes the treasures to be found in the Abyss and offers to be Nanachi's partner. The final 2 Delvers to enter the Abyss are Mitty and Nanachi. They proceed through a tunnel and come across a beacon that resembles the one from the beginning. When they reach their location, a voice warns them that if they climb more than 10 meters, they would suffer from ascension strains. 2 children, Nanachi and Mitty, overhear Bondrud talking to someone else. The other person raises ethical concerns about his decision to utilize youngsters in experiments. They are eventually sent to the Enigma's 6th lair, where they lose their humanity. Nanachi and Mitty flee the Ido front after a long stay because they can no longer stand the experiments they assist in or Mitty's mistreatment. Nanachi begs Reg to kill Mitty so that she will not be left alone in her misery. As Reg prepares his incinerator, Nanachi is seen making a blanket with plush animals around it and placing Mitty on it while talking to her. Nanachi begs Reg to stop as his incinerator heats up, and she sobs as she realizes they will never see Mitty again. After removing parasitic water shrooms from Riko's arm, Nanachi and Reg pay a visit to her hut. Nanachi softly urges Mitty to wait a little longer for her, and they decide to go with Riko and Reg. They send off a mail balloon, which is tracked on its way to Orth. It is definitely one of those anime which may be fairly straightforward in nature, but is still just so interesting in so many different ways that it's hard to stop watching. So if you want more content like this, click that like and subscribe button, and the notification bell for you to be notified every time we post content like this. And that is your daily dose of anime.